All right, guys, listen. The only thing that matters if you subscribe right now or comment or whatever you're doing right now, go to the page. What's the name? Oh, go to the page right now. What's the name? I was talking to my friend right there, the sexy Chauncey the Bear. You know what time it is. There's two of us, and there's two of them, right? Those wrestling girls, there's two of them. Make sure to subscribe, like, watch, enjoy.
Queen PR, Krista B, those wrestling girls, TWG, Black Excellence, making it effortless. Podcast bringing up women and wrestling. Let's go.
Hey everybody, what's up? We're back. It's those wrestling girls. It's your girl Krista B
and Queen PR.
And today is gonna be a fun episode. A super fun episode, super light episode.
Yeah.
And this is like our last episode until our break, like for our break.
Yes, it really is.
I tried to stop for a dramatic pause effect, but I just couldn't keep it in.
I was like,
yes, you guys, by the time we release this episode, we will be on vacation. We will be on break.
Yes.
So there will be no Those Wrestling Girls episodes for the month of July. We are taking a much needed break. We need to go away. We need to refresh. Yeah. I will be in New Orleans, living it up. I'll be in New Orleans for like 2 weeks, living it up for Essence Fest, living it up for my friend's birthday.
I'm so excited for you, yo.
Thank you. What are you gonna be doing on our break? Because we know you don't really take a break.
I'm probably not gonna take a full break, but
I will.
Krista, I've gotten so much better with that. Like July, I honestly plan to be unplugged for most of it, believe it or not, and I'm really gonna make an effort to do that.
Yeah, so, I don't want to see no messages like, hey, can you post an IG story? If it's empty, I'm on break.
No, I'm like, we took a break before and I was good. This was like our growth, because as you guys have been, listening to us for the last 4 years, like we had to learn how to take a break. Krista B had to check us for like our like overall wellness, like, we got to check in with ourselves. That's why we started the check-ins now. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. This is the first time where I'm actually excited to unplug. I'm excited to not do anything. I'm going to DC for like a much needed just like time and
just promise me one thing when you go to DC. Promise me one thing. Promise me two things.
What?
You link up with Britt.
Okay.
And that tell her that you guys have to do brunch at the Victory and you have to have a fried lobster tail just for me.
Okay. Like enough said. I love everything about that.
My gosh. Like when we went last Memorial weekend, went to DC, went to Victory. I had me an omelet. I think it was like a seafood omelet, and it had a fried lobster tail on the top.
God, that sounds amazing.
Like, would I go back? Girl. So you need to do that.
Yes, I'm going to do that. And it's just like, I want to just be like in a bubble, just unplugged, just like, with just, in a good, like loving space. And then in the end of July is SummerSlam. So it's like a great
SummerSlam. I won't be there. I'll probably be at Drop of Tears.
Ooh, holding it down. I mean, I'm not as like excited about SummerSlam like I was before. Like you know the vibes. But I'm excited to go to a city I've never been to. I know a lot of people that we love are gonna be in Nashville during that time.
Like I want to go, but it's just like
there's always more stuff.
Like I just want to go because it's Nashville. Never been there before. They may have some good food. I mean, if we can get in how we get in, then I'll go. But for right now,
we good.
Mania was everything. Okay.
Yes, it was.
Like only thing we should have had more money, but we spent it on other stuff. But whatever.
It was like really.
We live and we learn.
And it was such a good trip.
It was a fun trip. And the taco place that we was going to.
I miss it so much.
They DM me.
Really?
They reacted to one of my stories that I posted while there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I miss you guys so much. I can't wait
Yo,
to
that was
come
such
back."
a good thing to just like walk across the street, get a taco, get a fucking margarita to go. Like it
It
was
was so
everything.
good. Like, and all the other tacos we had, if it wasn't from that
Didn't
space,
hit.
it just did not
It
hit. So
didn't
I don't
hit.
care what Math says from Black Wrestling
Mav, when
Podcast.
does he
The
ever, except when it
the
comes to
tacos
the
from
BRP
our
50, when
side
does Mav know what he's
was
talking
better.
about?
Never. I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
I
But the
never throw
tacos from
shade at
our
Mav.
side was
I love
better from
Mav,
the
but you know, that's
was
like
better
our
than the
like
tacos from your side. I really
yeah.
need. I need to know what the seasonings were like.
We need to figure something out for them to like send us things. Like, you know how you could get like Jimmy seafood from like Baltimore. I'm like, we had know so many like amazing people from Baltimore. Like, we have to throw an event out
You
there.
can't say Baltimore. You have to say
I'm
Maryland,
oh
DMV at this point. Cause
yeah, that's true. But isn't like Maryland and Baltimore like the same thing?
listen, you trying to start a war.
Yes, I'm here for all the chaos.
And I could fight, but I'm too tired to fight, and I'm too lit off of my coquito.
Ooh,
Shout out to let me put you on.
Let's pull up that handle.
Let me
it
put
got
you
you
on
feeling
to
nice. Yo, can I just also like real quick in our check-in, because we're like fresh off of Black Wrestle Fest, is also like after you pull up that, I gotta say that my Black Wrestle Fest was definitely powered by Tipsy Geek, because I think I probably had, I don't even know how many fucking rum punches.
Them
and then I
rum
was
punches
like,
was slapping.
yo, and then everyone, he was like, shout out to Casey. I hope we work with him at some point, because he's just like such a cool dude. He's like, you know, and his drinks are amazing, and he's such a great vibe. And his table in the first day of Black Wrestle Fest was like kind of in the cut. So I, you know,
how was the second day? I wasn't there.
The second day, I was talking about the first day, but the second day was cool. The film screening, the
No,
Battle Club.
I meant like with his table, because you said the first one was in the cut. Where was his table the second day?
There weren't like vendors like the second day. The second day was more like very, very chill, and it was more of the film screening, and then breakdown, and then the Battle Club Pro show, which was one of the best shows I think I have ever like been to. Like, it felt like one of those shows where it's like the action was like crazy.
So
like
I seen a video clip. Can you please explain to me the chaos that took place in the ring when all of them was wearing like all black and they were jumping each other? What happened?
Okay, so okay, so not takeover, fuck. JTP South was going against Prolific, and you know Prolific's the family. Shout out to Marquise and Isaiah Wolf and that whole team. We love them.
And Tyree.
I know it's a lot of them.
A lot of them. Tyree's the homie.
Yes, and JTP South. And I don't know if I'm conflating stories. Like, my apologies. I hope they like release that show somewhere, because it was like that good. But Ruthless Lala, I believe, who is affiliated with Prolific, got in the mix at some point. Oh yeah. She came out because I think I don't know, but she ended up coming out and wanting to smoke with everyone, and it got real. And she was going against somebody in JTP South, and then all the security guards came out or whatever. But
is that when she slapped Dre?
Yeah, so Dre. Wait, I don't think she slapped Dre, because I think Mr. Black was representing JTP. Like, he was out in the mix, you know, in JTP South's corner, and then Dre was with Prolific. So
but
then
she slapped Dre. From what I seen on his story, like by the curtain, she slapped him. And he kind of like yoked her up and pushed her through the curtain.
Yeah, that definitely happened. Okay. Like, don't quote me. Like, it was like so much going on.
He's still feeling the rum punches, y'all. Don't worry about it.
It was like one of those like, oh shit, like a lot of things happened. And then I was like moving to like the front row on like every side and stuff. And then one cool moment happened, just like these moments, and like with our friends and like this Black wrestling renaissance. So like, Mr. Black at one point like hands me like his water bottle, like, you know, here, take my water, sweetheart. So the row behind, like the people behind me are like, oh my God, do you know him? Do you know that he was gonna involve you? Oh my God. And I'm like, That's one of my really good friends. But then it's just like, this is such a cool moment for him, for them, like, for like, and it just like reminds you of just like why like all this is like so cool. And to see like Dre and them mixing it up, and like it really was like really captivating. Like everybody was like, at the end, everybody was like, yo, that was good. And then everyone was on a high because Joe Kim, shout out to him and everyone that put on that show and back WrestleFest. He gave his flowers, her flowers, and the Pretty Hill team at the start of the show. But he announced at the end that Mia Yim and Big Swole might main event Jobber Slam 2 for the championship.
Yeah, I don't understand. Hold on, wait. We gotta
huge
pull that back a little bit. Y'all do not understand the capacity of this main event. He posted it on Twitter and I actually reposted it. Y'all don't understand the capacity of this event. You're going to have Big Swole. And you're going to have the HBIC, Mia Yim, the Blazing Baddie, and the main event at Jabba Slam in Brooklyn in August, the day after Black Girl Magic.
Yep. Iconic.
At this point, I don't need nobody hitting me up during that weekend. The 19th and the 20th, don't hit me up. Y'all know where I'm going to be at. If y'all trying to find me, I know I'm going to be at Black Girl Magic and I'm going to be at Jabba Slam 2. Because
that's a weekend you're not going to want to miss.
My God. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Oh, but shout out to Matt Awesome on Twitter.
Yes.
Mr_rated17. His coquitos be hitting. This is cookies and cream.
I want that.
I had to legit take a picture and send mine to Swole and be like, girl, I got mine. She was like, sis, she got hers too. And he makes different flavors. He makes banana, cookies and cream. He makes vegan ones.
That's a game changer right there.
Right. Vegan coquito?
Okay. That is a fucking game changer. For sure. Yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to all the vendors at Black WrestleFest. It was very much a dope experience. But I'm excited to record this episode because I am very excited about it. I've been wanting to. It's funny, the thing with timing. Another thing, Krista B, I feel like we have like really accepted over the fact that some things just come with timing. And I've been wanting to push and do a Paige episode since like day one. And for whatever reason, we never did. But now is literally the perfect time to do one because she announced that she was leaving WWE. Like her last day is next month. She's making appearances. She's going to be at StarCast. So that is one thing I'm excited. I am going to a Nashville StarCast. And Paige was just announced. So she's in this transition in her career, and it's the perfect time now to spotlight her time in WWE because now it's like on to the next.
That's a fact. And I really love Paige. I love her. Like, she was literally, of course, the anti-diva. Mm-hmm. And she came out in wrestling around the time when I want to say Twilight was a thing. And she was just, and they was, the pale faces and, so she came around that time and she just like gave me Twilight mixed with Spice Girls and everything in between. And I just loved every minute of it. She was one of the first to make me feel like it was okay to be a tomboy, but still want to dress girly in a sense. Because if y'all listened to previous episodes, I was a tomboy. Mm-hmm. I don't mind putting on some sweats, some sneakers, and a t-shirt and going outside. But we all know I can get dolled up when I get dolled up.
Yes, and you show up and show out.
Show up and show out. She was literally the like epitome of that for me. So I appreciate all she's done. Yeah, we're gonna miss you, Paige.
We are gonna miss you. And I was heartbroken when she, announced that she was gonna have to give up wrestling, but she still found a way to be a part of WWE, which I really appreciated. And I'm rocking my OG Paige shirt. One of the first things I got on WWE Shop when I got back into wrestling back in probably like 2017, I think. I was so excited when she came back, because that was right when I had started watching, weekly. And me and my dad are a big Paige fan, so that's something that we shared. And then she's just another personality that I fell in love with on Total Divas. Before I even watched her like live on a WWE show, wrestling, I was like, I really like this Paige girl. I love how different she is. I love how she doesn't give a fuck about, and what anyone thinks. And, at the same time, and then we kind of watched her grow up. We like saw her, go through make mistakes, and make bad decisions, and then grow from them, and also grow into like this new person that she is now, and like the injuries. And she's still very, very young.
She's still young. She's really young. I'm wearing my Rock shirt because The Rock was kind of like,
love that,
who inspired her. Not really inspired, but he kind of helped. Remember, well, you watched the movie without me twice. I still have yet to see Fight with My Family.
It's on Hulu.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. I could watch it because Rock fine ass is in the movie anyway. So
yes,
why not?
and he produced it.
So, and he has Zelina Vega playing AJ Lee.
Hilarious.
That's so funny. But yeah, so yes, I'm wearing my Rock shirt. One, because this is such a vintage ass shirt. Two, I love The Rock. And three, he kind of helped Paige's career. Like, he gave her some guidance and some insight. And Paige has this running joke that she's been fighting up since she was a baby, before she was born, which is true, because her mom was a wrestler.
Her mom was a wrestler.
And her mom happened to be pregnant with her while in the ring and not knowing that she was pregnant with her.
Yep. So true. So I like your first impression of Paige. My first impression was, watching Total Divas, but then you go in and you like learn about her, and you realize, like, I was also one of those people. I was in a WWE bubble growing up, watching it. I was very kayfabe, like, I didn't really care about anything else. But then once I started like kind of learning more about wrestling, and just, what it's the business and the behind the scenes, and just like, and to think it exists in other countries. Like, it's not just WWE, like there's other things. So her being a part of a wrestling family, and one that was very, very well known in, where she's from, in the UK. And then so you think about her as like a, no wonder she related to like a Natalia, because wrestling has literally been her whole entire life. And she's wrestled her mother, she's wrestled her family. She had the documentary that actually inspired The Rock to make a movie about her, was Fighting with My Family. And it was really just like kind of following her career and how she got signed to WWE ultimately, which is really the life goal of this, the Knight Dynasty. But I just always, I love that she's like one of a kind, and WWE was able to get her at such a crucial time.
Mm-hmm.
They
were. She was NXT Women's Champion when she got called up, and she ended up beating AJ Lee and was she won Divas Champion. So was she like the first person to hold both belts at the same time?
Yeah, I believe so.
There she was. Yes, she was.
Yeah, I believe so. And she held.
And she was the first women's NXT champion.
Yeah, she was. She definitely was. So that goes to like one of my first questions that I want to ask you, that I have debated a lot, and it's debated. I love to think the women's evolution started with the whole narrative that WWE says of just like, the Divas Revolution, and it trended on Twitter and we listened. And no, I like to think, I always had this like weird theory that the women's evolution was brewing and the seeds are being planted more like in like 2013, because that was the year that Paige, I don't know if that's the year Paige got signed or something big happened. The Emmas were there, as well as Total Divas premiering, and there were just so many things around that time that were kind of like building up the foundation of what would be to come. And I was talking to Brian H. Waters about Paige earlier, because I was like, can you, I had did the outline for this episode so long ago because I've been wanting to do this episode, but I was like, you know what, this needs a refreshed eye. And I was just explaining to him like why I love her, which is why, she never wanted to be like anyone else. Like
Yeah,
she
that's
she
true.
raised the standard. Like when she came, like in the movie, they dramatized it about how, of course, they wanted to train her to, when she came to WWE to pull hair and to cat fight and all that, and how she refused, and she was just like, I'm a wrestler. I come from a wrestling family. I was trained to wrestle at a young age. And like, I take this seriously. This is so she was not keen on like these like bikini models coming in thinking that they can do what she does and stuff like that. So I'd rather train girls how to wrestle and wrestle them than you guys train me how to like catfight them. And that's the kind of like, stances or that like creates actual change. And then you see 2 years later, you have the Sashas and the Baileys like having these iconic matches. So how do you feel like Paige fits in like the women's revolution, and like where we are now with it?
I feel like around that time when Paige was getting called up, AJ Lee was on her way out. So we had Paige, AJ Lee, the Bella twins, and then everybody else kind of fell where they fell.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad to say Naomi was in that fallen where they fallen until she started to speak up for herself and be like, hold up, like I've been here for a long time too. You're gonna stop overlooking me.
Right.
But I really do give credit to Paige, Naomi, and the Bella twins for really starting that women's evolution. Alicia Fox as well, because she was there after AJ left, and they had that last match at Mania. The Bella Twins versus AJ Lee and Paige, and then AJ leaves after that or was terminated, whatever have you, like that. But I do give credit to Paige because she was that standard to stand out and be different, showing it's okay to be different. Like the women who've come before her that showed that they was different, where the actual wrestlers was looked at as odd people, like Luna behind you, P. Like she was literally looked at like nobody really wants to see you, so we're gonna put you in this bubble in this category, and it fucked with her mental. And she sadly passed away because it fucked with her mental state. But for Paige to come out, stand out, and stand in her own, it was just something that we needed to see, and we wanted the change to come. Like we were tired of seeing, like the hair pulling and the cat fights and the mud baths and all of this. But that was cute for those who actually just want to be on TV and really don't want to really hurt themselves. But for those who actually take this business seriously,
right,
that's what we wanted to see as fans.
I totally agree. And when you talk about like taking the business seriously, like talking about Paige, is like this is her family's life. Like this is like how they feed themselves. Like they have given their life to this. So for her to fly all the way out here and then like now you expect me to do mud baths or whatever the fuck. It's and it reminds me of like something we talked about like in our Sasha Banks episodes that we recorded recently, is like the Divas Championship belt. Like I can't, and Paige, held it and what it was, but like I can't imagine like a Sasha Banks holding that. Like it just doesn't seem right. Like it just feels like she's so like, I don't want to say above that, but it's like, what she's bringing is more than that. And I feel the same way with Paige and her just being like objectified for her appearance. Like you're talking about like, this scrappy, wrestler who's trained and wrestled her brothers and shit like that. And the only value you see in me is like that I, stressing that I tan because you want me to have sex appeal. Like, that's the last thing on my mind. I came here because I'm the best wrestler ever and I've trained my whole life to be here, kind of thing. So I love that like she upped the standard of like what women can be in WWE. And then even when you watch Total Divas, and which is sort of like a great way to, and that's why I hate that people shut on the show, because it's such a great way to see like how the women's evolution or revolution, quote unquote, was like receptive backstage. So like there's one season where the girls start training more because they're like, there's more talent, and kind of find out they're talking about like the 4 horsewomen that came up that's like really like up the game. Like, like we wrestling, like y'all gotta fucking keep up kind of thing. So to see like, and I feel like Paige, the Emmas of that time, the AJ Lees, of course, kind of were the ones that moved it a little bit forward. And, that's why I love our channel because we try to give props to every woman that stepped in the ring, especially in WWE, because no matter what little bit they did, if they fought for change or better, they still was participated in the evolution or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Paige is just one of those people that really did. Yeah.
She just got so hyped up and paid. She just lost her train of thought, y'all. It happens.
I
Like
did.
these women, like literally, because it's so hard to really put them in a bubble, and we can speak
Right.
on them all day. But when it's like saying, if you describe her in one word, like how would you? Like you can't really describe her in one word. But now that we're talking about Paige and Total Divas, two scenes in Total Divas come to mind
What?
for me and for Paige.
Okay.
The first scene is when she tricked Maddie, Lord, when she tricked Natty into eating weed brownies.
Oh Lord.
And Natty like caused the whole car accident so that she wouldn't get drug tested. And
that whole
Paige was just like, oh, I lied. Like I just wanted you to loosen up a bit. And it literally sent her into a panic even more.
Yo, and then Natty, out of all people, is the worst to like say that to. And then I think she was in a car with Aria, and Aria was like,
oh my God,
what
crazy?
the fuck?
What is wrong with you?
Yo, oh my God.
The second memory or scene that I can remember of Paige's is when she was about ready to quit because they was trying to change her image, and it was like in the shoe store or something. And Paige was just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not changing my image. I'm leaving. And she happened to run into her fan outside who was wearing like the same shoes and stuff like her. And like, she was like, it's because of you, I didn't commit suicide. It's because of you. Like I was able to, and like, they just started to cry and have that moment. And Paige was just like overwhelmed with so much emotion, because if it wasn't for that fan, Paige was about to quit, leave WWE. Like, all right, bye. Like, y'all not gonna accept me for who I am. I'm not gonna sit here and take y'all shit.
Yeah.
But the fact that she did not do that, and she was able to continue
her ground.
She's able to continue to be her, to be the anti-diva, and they went on to market her as the anti-diva, and this was her house, and
it was her house. I also liked that too. Like, I love her music. Her music is, I'm gonna miss hearing it.
I mean, we haven't heard it in a while, so
yeah. But I loved like
I love the gray.
The gray was cute. I did like the gray. I love the whose house is this? It's my house. Like, and she knew how to work the crowd. She had that like genuineness. I think of like a Jeff Hardy, where it's like, I don't know exactly what it is that I really like about you, but I just feel like I can really relate to you, and I want to root for you. And she was good at on the mic, so. And that was during the time where like one person sort of dominated the scene. And then it was like Paige, she debuted after WrestleMania 30, won the championship her first night. And then she was the center of it. And she was doing the storyline with AJ Lee and then their whole Freaks and Geeks thing. And you talk about that moment where she inspired that girl. Like, and I think that was what kind of kept Paige like, what I do is like special, because I get inspired by people. I'm old, but I still get inspired by things like that. Like the fact that Paige was like, I love like how like pale she is, because they pressured her to tan. And she's like, I don't want to look like Mandy Rose. Like, I don't want to, like, I want to be me. I'm going to stand out because I'm the one that's not tan. And I love that, because when you enter, especially an environment like WWE, and they want you to change things, you kind of feel this pressure of like, I got to do it. And she was like, no, that's not what makes me me. And that's not what's going to be my appeal. My appeal is going to be that I am different and I can be myself and all that. So,
you know who else did that? Which, I mean, I really don't respect them as a wrestler, but Eva Marie did that in Total Divas. They wanted her to be a blonde because she was tall and she was beautiful, and I don't take anything from Eva because she's very tall, she's very beautiful. I just didn't like how she just used, I mean, you got to get it how you live, right? Use your way to get on TV. Whatever. I get it, or whatever. But I love the fact that she went fiery red instead of a blonde like everybody else. Like she wanted to stand out and not fit. She wanted to stand out and not fit in and be overlooked.
Right.
Because how many blondes were there at the time? There was Maddie, there was Summer Rae, there was Emma, it was like
it was too many. And
too many.
And the only reason they didn't want her to be a brunette was because they didn't want her to look like a Bella twin, because they're both Italian. I think they both might be Italian and half Mexican or something like that. So they wanted her to look different from them because they were the focus at that point. And then she was like, that's just not me. And then the all red everything became her fucking thing. That was actually kind of dope. Like, too bad
she couldn't wrestle with it.
Right. But the all red everything was lit. She definitely had the it factor. But I did admire the fact that she said, fuck it. And everybody was looking at her like, girl, you're going to lose your job this quick. And it ended up working in her favor.
Yeah. I feel like with WWE, sometimes you have to see it to let it work in your favor, because they did the same with Naomi when Naomi got the belt, and she was like,
so
I'm tired of doing it. Like, I wanted to glow, and she, though she had to hide it because you're scared, but once you step out that box and get out of your own way and stand up for what you feel is right and you believe in something, then do it. And Naomi that's how Naomi's glowing to this very day. Well, when she comes back.
Yes.
But that's how she's
not
doing.
in WWE. She's gonna glow.
Facts.
And one day we're gonna link up with her in New York, and it's gonna be lit. So I want to talk about like some like facts about Paige that I just think are really interesting. You mentioned some of them. First ever NXT Women's Champion, and I think her and Seth were the first NXT champions, and that was such an era of NXT that like you can't like duplicate, and
it seems like it's so far away. It was like, it doesn't seem like it was 2014,
right?
That seems more like 2004. Like, because you're like, these wrestlers are not that much older or younger than us.
That's true.
Seth Rollins is what, 30, 34, 36? And we're 32. Like,
yeah, they're really not.
They're really not that older or younger than us. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
This was in 2014. I was 24.
Jesus.
Drinking somewhere or
my 20s
just graduating undergrad. Like, didn't know what I wanted to do, but they were in here winning championships around that time.
Yeah. And then now look to see where Seth is now, like probably on the best run of his life. Paige, like how far she's come from that moment. She retired, she came like career-ending industry, came back, and now she's like on to the next. She's not even gonna be in WWE. But at 22, she was ranked the number 1 wrestler in the world by PWI. Shout out to Kev. That is crazy. Like 22. We just talked about when we were 24 and we were both probably like drunk somewhere. She is 22 years old and is the number 1 women's wrestler in the world. I couldn't even imagine that.
Me neither. Sorry, me neither.
Shout out to Matt also.
Mad good.
I didn't get one though.
Well, if you join,
I was on my run.
But if you join us in the morning for Coffee with Rev Run on Twitter Spaces, you would know. We be in there networking. Now you know. Now you know where to get it from.
In there, yo. Shout out to STP. She's a
Shout out to STP.
Yeah, they're the best. Paige is a 2-time Divas champion. I thought she held it more times.
I felt like she held it more times too. Or was her lungs? Lord Jesus. Was her runs really long?
That's what I'm thinking, but I could have swore, and again, guys, we are not fucking experts. I'm looking it up now, but I do believe, and you were right, she is the only woman to ever hold both Divas and NXT simultaneously. But let's see how
History
many
History
making. So I know her and AJ Lee feuded mostly for it. And now I'm gonna look at the reigns.
I feel like that was like one of her most memorable feuds with AJ Lee.
Yeah.
She had feuds with the Bellas.
Yeah,
And,
she only held it twice.
Team Bella, Team Bad.
Wow.
And she was in PCB. But
the interesting thing, I'm sorry to
no, go ahead, do you think?
interrupt you, is she wasn't really on the main roster that long compared to like the Sasha Bankses and the Charlottes and even the Nikki Bellas and stuff, because she debuted in on the main roster in when was WrestleMania 30?
That was in 2014.
Okay, so she wins the Divas Championship then on Raw in New Orleans.
Is that the same year DX came out? Yes. With Rock and Ronda Rousey, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then she drops it to AJ Lee a couple months later, and then she's champion for not that much longer, and she lost in a triple threat with AJ Lee and Nikki Bella. And then she gets injured and she doesn't come back until 2017. So her time on the main, she really, and I think I was so heartbroken for her when they announced the Royal Rumble and she couldn't compete. And they didn't announce her injury yet, but she knew that she couldn't be a part of this. And we'll get to that. But she wasn't on the main roster very long, and she made that much of like an impact.
It's like Mick Foley. Mick Foley wasn't in WWE long. He's been wrestling for a really long time, but he wasn't in WWE long at all. And I keep forgetting that he wasn't there for that long, and it seemed like longer because he just kept making these appearances.
Yeah, and he was like GM for a hot sec, which was cool.
Yeah, so it's
was Paige.
Right.
Speaking of, and I can't wait to talk about that part of her time in WWE. But what was your reaction? Like, were you watching it when she debuted the Raw after?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what were you
again, I wasn't watching NXT. So anybody who got called up from NXT, I didn't know them.
Okay. So what was your reaction? Because like she clearly was. Oh, go ahead.
My reaction at first was, okay, we got AJ Lee about to fight, whoever. And then again, I feel like that match was literally under 2 minutes. But she won. And I'm like, okay, we're going to see what's happening next. But then when I heard she's also NXT Women's Champion, I'm like, wait, huh? So what? Like, they're going to cross brand? Like, I didn't know what was happening. And once she we started to see her more, and like this feud between her and AJ started to become a thing. I was like, okay, I'm interested. But then, I stopped watching it again because these women weren't having the matches that I felt like they could have been having. And being, as you brought up Paige, and she was doing stuff in NXT, and you brought her up to do squash matches and on the main roster, it just wasn't it for me. But around that time, it was like I was in and out of it. I was really only there when the Rock made appearances.
Gotcha. I know the vibes.
That's it.
I know the vibes. I wasn't watching at the time, but I was watching Total Divas, like I said before, and I'm like hearing it from like her perspective, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, like what a big moment this is, and even me not really like grasping like this is such a huge moment. Watching it from like a reality show perspective, but then when you think about it, it's like for you to win your the first championship on your debut, like you have to be that means WWE has to know that you're going to carry this, like you're good enough to make this impact. And at this point in time, AJ Lee was the focal point of the division, and she was like, she had just retained her title in a battle royal, and it got to the point where people were like, okay, well, she's like never gonna lose, she's never gonna not lose this. And then now you have this like, and if you don't watch NXT, it's just like this British pale girl, that's kind of like gothic looking, and like now she's like, champion. And now it's like I'm paying attention because again, she's different, which is also what we liked about AJ Lee, but she's even more unique than AJ Lee. And now they're mixing it up. it was exactly what I think the division like needed at the time.
Right. I think when AJ lead. What is wrong with us tonight, sis? I think we're tired. We're tired. Like we're tired. So, and just so you know, I'm not editing none of this stuff because it shows us who we are. We are human.
Yes,
Okay.
I love
Anyway.
that. Yes.
I think for me, I love the feud between AJ Lee and Paige, but when they joined together, it gave me that what I call now the Sasha Bailey vibe or the Sasha vibe.
Like,
you know, Sasha's always quick to turn on somebody. And it gave me that. And I'm like, oh, she's somebody going to turn on somebody. I didn't like it. Like, why they part? Like, it kept me on the edge of my seat because you just didn't know at the time who's going to turn on who.
Right.
Because we know what they hated each other.
Right.
Have no idea why they joined each other. Couldn't tell you to this day. But it worked.
It did work. And I love how you said it kept you on your feet, because this was during a time where, you know, they were really fighting for the women's matches not to be bathroom breaks. So now you have Paige where she's captivated. Like you have to watch what she's doing, because even from her debut, everything she did was unpredictable. And then, like you said, with AJ Lee, you know, she brought out the best in AJ Lee. AJ Lee brought out the best in her. And you know, whether they were teaming up or going against each other, like you watched it, because they actually dropped the titles to each other too. Which didn't happen. It was like, okay, AJ Lee's champion for forever long. She was before Nikki, she was the longest reigning Divas champion, and here comes Paige. Like, nah, F that. You're losing this. And I think that was AJ Lee's like last biggest like impactful feud before she ended up retiring.
Mm-hmm. But you mentioned something earlier. You said in 2017 when Paige returned, and I have to touch on that because it's always something dealing with Chris where I miss the big returns. and something I remember, I was driving to go get him from work, and I was like, yo, I have to watch. I think it was she returned on Raw with Absolution. And I'm driving, and I know exactly where I'm at, what street I'm on. And I'm driving, and he's like, where you at? I said, I'm coming. I'm on my way. Like, I'm coming. So I'm looking to see how I can watch. I forgot which app, USA app. I'm trying to watch on USA app as I'm driving. And I forgot how I saw that she returned. And when I say I was in the car screaming because I missed it, I didn't hear the music. Like, I missed it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's always... Chris was like, what are you talking about? Because every time I'm with you, I don't watch Raw, and I miss a return. Like, I was with him, and I missed when Shane McMahon returned.
Oh, no.
I'm like, yo, we can't talk on Mondays because
I can't be missing stuff.
I can't be missing stuff. I mean, now I can, but, you know, then I couldn't be missing stuff. But I was just like, oh, and then she brought up Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I'm liking this. And, you know, she got back in the ring for a little bit, and as fast as she was in, as fast as she was out, because she was re-injured by none other than Sasha Banks.
She was. And the more we're like talking about her, like it's like making me like, damn, I miss Paige, because I remember, and I was so lucky that it was during a time I was watching Raw every week, and because me and my dad are fans, and we were always like, oh, when Paige's gonna come back, Paige's come back. And then when her music hit, it was like, oh my God, like it was one of those moments where like you really truly didn't expect it at all. Like it wasn't one of those things where like you hear rumors and it's like, okay, and you kind of like, you know, like the Cody Rhodes, or like when CM Punk came and stuff. It's like we all kind of knew, and then when it happens, it's still amazing. But like I didn't know this was gonna happen, and I was so excited.
And then when she would just play the music song about I'm back.
You miss me? I'm like,
absolutely.
Yes, I really missed you.
And just for the record, we were there when Cody Rhodes came back, and it was like
goosebumps,
the most amazing thing ever. And between Brian and P that weekend, I lost body parts, kneecap, shoulders, eardrums, like
Brian H. Waters,
because like it was the most craziest thing.
That was wild.
That reaction was crazy.
Oh my God. Goosebumps.
That reaction was crazy. Had I known we could have went down
Oh
further
man, that would
before.
have been awesome.
Bye, Brian. See you later. Bye, guys. See you later. If I would have known we would have went up for that Bianca match, my good
Oh
sis would have saw
my
us.
God. I would have lost my voice completely the night before. Like my voice was kind of gone Saturday, but then Sunday killed it. But if we were like that close to Bianca, especially with that fucking HBCU entrance, we would have lost our voices.
My good sis would have saw us all up in there, all up in
All
there.
up
Okay,
in there.
all up in there. But no, Paige's return. It was just like, and
So
then she got injured at a live event. Like she didn't even get injured on Raw.
and it's very terrifying footage. Like because you see it, but you don't really know that this is what it is. And then when you see it, it's so like, and I wish people didn't like share it so much on social media, because like you literally see someone like almost get like paralyzed, and like neck injuries are serious. And that's why I was so excited when she came back, because it was like a Daniel Bryan moment, and later on like an Edge moment, where it's like, it's not over for you. Like you can actually do this again. So you think it's over for someone like Paige, who's so young, who really, because she missed the women's evolution. Now she's back, and now she could be a part of all the things that like she kind of like trailblazed. And then, like you said, unfortunately, I feel like right as my favorite year of women's wrestling 2018 kicks off, she's out.
Yep, she wasn't in Evolution. She was not there. But you know what's crazy?
Matches.
Before, Edge's group turned on him, Edge had posted a picture of Paige. Like,
interesting.
And Beth Phoenix had retweeted, was like, no, not her, or something like that. But then Paige announces her retirement, like she's done, like she's leaving WWE. So now I'm thinking, with Finn Balor, the new leader of whatever the group name is, with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, Edge is gonna come back after he fixes his eye and whatever else is happening up there. Edge is gonna come back, or he's gonna kind of like summon Paige to be in his position until he heals. And Paige is not really gone, but she can't wrestle anymore.
Yeah.
I feel, see, the way my creative mind be going, it's Raiders would be through the fucking roof right now with WWE. Like, you would want to be in tune and see, like, what's next. Like, when we were younger with Attitude Era, you like, leave us on a cliff note. And, oh man, if Paige could come back one more time, you know who will be a good match for her?
Who?
Bianca.
Yeah.
Charlotte too. I don't know if she's fought Charlotte. She has when they broke up, but this Charlotte now,
right? Yeah.
This Becky now.
Ooh,
well, no, man Becky, the man Becky, and Paige. What?
Oh man, and that's what makes it so like, because now it's like she might be cleared to wrestle, but now she's not in WWE, and it's like so many dream matches that she could have, so much talent that like she hasn't worked with because she, wasn't around when all this was happening. So I think this is a good segue to talk about PCB, because we always talk about, those 9 women that sort of, spearheaded the women's evolution, and PCB was Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Paige. And Paige was actually the focal point because she was the established star, believe it or not, which is wild to think. But how did you feel about PCB? Like, I know I was, looking back on this, and of course, like I was like Team Bella, but I was also just like, this is so fucking cool, and Team Bad. But how did you feel about PCB?
Like I said, I didn't know who any of these NXT women were. I couldn't even sit here and call it and tell you who they were. But I did notice that the focus was a lot on Paige and Charlotte and not so much Becky. And then that's when the rift between Charlotte and Becky kind of started. So it was taking the focus off of Paige. But I did like the fact that Paige had backup when it came down to starting this women's evolution, because we were tired of seeing the Bellas take over and be the bullies, and and they had Alicia Fox, so it was already whoever their opponents were already at a disadvantage with. If Brie was in the ring, you had Nikki on the side, and if Nikki was in the ring, you had Brie on the side, and then you have Alicia Fox come into the fold, and that was just like, yeah, really outnumbered. So it was good to see that they had backup, that Naomi and Tamina had backup. Yeah. But this right here, I just felt like, I don't know. You could tell, like, these are different people. Especially Becky. Becky went from this to quinoa to bloody face
from this to quinoa
to the bloody man on your wall, to big time Bex on my wall, to whatever she is now, or whoever she is now. And Charlotte, you could just tell Charlotte just grown, like grown.
She'll become a gazillion time champion since then. And it's like Paige didn't even do anything, not anything during that time of like even like the new championship belt. Like she didn't
she couldn't participate in anything.
To see like she wasn't even able to be like a women's champion in WWE when she was probably one of the first, like you said, the anti-diva. Like I can see like if she, and I would love to do like a Twitch show of like what if Paige didn't get injured, what would she have done in the women's evolution? Oh yeah, I gotta write that down. But I wouldn't be surprised if she was the one that was, the first woman, one of the first women to main event, or the first woman to open Royal Rumble, or the first woman to, main event, all those things. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, like if she didn't get hurt the time that she did. I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up being the focal point of the division, because she already was, and she had everything it took. And that's why the timing of her injury just fucking sucks, because she was like, it was only really the beginning of everything.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Not covering Becky. You must say, damn, you disrespecting her too at that time.
Yeah. It's like the growth. I can't wait to do our Becky series.
That's gonna be a week.
Ooh, that's gonna be like a 3-4. Well, our Sasha Banks series. I don't know if this is the first time we're talking about it to the public, but it's gonna be a 3-parter, and I think a Becky one will definitely be a 3-parter.
And then I feel like we got to do another 4 horsewomen after. So we got to do a series on all 4 of them individually, and then we have to do another one. 4 horsewomen. Yeah, definitely. So and then maybe we can have one of them, all of them, who knows, on the show. Right. Charlotte and Becky get their shit together.
Yeah, come on, sis. Yeah,
y'all gotta do better. Y'all gotta do great.
Yeah. So, one thing I would love to talk about with Paige is how polarizing she is, but also just some of like the mainstream stuff that she's done. Because this episode is titled The One and Only, because there is literally no one like Paige. So The Rock actually discovered the Knight family, in this documentary that they came out with, Fighting With My Family. And it was a documentary about how this wrestling family, this is their life, and they have a school and they train, and it was about the star that you can clearly see in the daughter. And, Paige's brother, they was wrestled, of course. They wanted to, their dream was, of course, to, be a champion in WWE. If you're a wrestler, that's probably your end goal at some point. But she was the one.
Time out. You went out, like the whole screen went black.
Oh.
Like you're back now, but you said The Rock discovered her, and then you froze, and the whole screen like went black and came back, and you were still talking. So we didn't catch any of that.
Okay, so The Rock discovered her. The Rock discovered her based on the documentary about her family. And like her brothers wanted to be champions in WWE, and she was the one that was a star. And you can clearly see like Paige had something even at that young age. And that's why this episode is titled The One and Only, because there's no one like Paige. So The Rock discovers her and was like, I want to make a movie about you. Imagine having a biopic and you're not even like 25. Like that has to be like mind blowing.
Wait a minute. How old is Paige? Nah.
She is 29.
So when this came out, she was
Like when they started producing the movie, she wasn't 25 yet. So it's like for the greatest, like one of the greatest sports entertainers to see, like, your life is dope and I want to like basically be a support to you and make a movie about your life, and you're like that young. Like, that's insane.
shit.
You
That's a
know?
bag.
Right? And it's like she has so much more life ahead of her, but yet she's already kind of done enough to have a biopic. And I think there's something about that to me is like mind blowing. But then it was also what I was excited about the movie is like this basically shows more of the marketability of like wrestling, because the movie was about a wrestling family, but it was really about a family, and it was about, anyone can relate to Paige's story in this movie. And you can see The Rock produced it. So when I heard that Paige is coming out with a movie, and I forgot where they debuted the trailer, I was so excited because I was such a huge Paige fan. And then to watch it, and I was like, wait, this is such a cute movie. Shout out to Diva Dirt. They let me review the movie for them. And I was like, this is so cool because I can bring anyone to see this movie. And to the point where people that weren't wrestling fans was like, I took my kids to see Find It With My Fam that don't watch wrestling, don't care about it. And it was such a cute movie. And I was like, I love when wrestling gets put in a place where everyone can watch. Like, this is something everyone can relate to. It's not just like this weird hobby. Like, it's, it could be dope.
Right, and we had conversations about going to see it together, and she went without me twice. Just had to
I'm
throw it out there
sorry.
again.
Well, so I had got random tickets to a screening, and then my dad got us tickets because he was a huge Page fan, and then I was like, I saw it so many times, but I'm sorry, boo.
So I have yet to watch it. So
we could
she
do a
told
watch
me
along.
it's on. No, forget all that. Now I gotta watch it by myself first.
But I really enjoyed the movie. I want to know what you guys thought about it, and how do you guys feel about Zelina Vega playing AJ Lee?
I was just so confused on that one. I'm like, huh?
I think it was the height thing.
It had to be the height. It had to be the height.
Zelina being like so good on the mic, like AJ Lee was, where having that, like, you could tell AJ Lee's from Jersey, Zelina Vega's New York. Like, Zelina has something that, like, I feel like AJ Lee has that you can't really like just cast a random.
Facts, you can't cast a random.
Yeah. But yeah, she was on Total Divas. She did a lot of the WWE movies. And she was one of the longest, like, tenured women at one point. And even when she retired, she came back as general manager. She managed the Kabuki Warriors for a hot second. How did you feel about Paige as a general manager of SmackDown?
I loved it because she didn't take no shit. It brought back to like when they would cheat and the managers would be like, hold up, start this match again because so and so did this, so and so did that. You were banned from ringside. Like, she ain't take no shit. I feel like that's what we need a lot right now in WWE and wrestling. So I can't even sit here and say that. But I loved her role as general manager. I'm just upset. I feel like after general manager, she managed Kabuki Warriors, right? Mm-hmm. And then COVID hit, and it was just like, all right.
Yeah. And I think when it went to Fox, I think that's when it was like, okay. And I think one of the fucked up parts about it, talking about fucking WWE, is I think she found out on social media. Oh, no. Or was that when Backstage got canceled? I know it was something that that she like found out that like it was not happening for her anymore on like social media, and she was like, okay, well, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, it's so fucked up how things are translated instead of like in person. You got all of it through social media and shit. You got these people
it's like, why is my job
willing to drop shit without caring just to say that they got their first drop and shit. Like,
right,
screw you.
Yeah, I enjoy Paige so much as a general manager, especially because during that time, and that was her way of being involved in a lot of the things, and she was good. I enjoyed it. Her outfits were cute. You saw like a more like glam, mature Paige, which I appreciated. She's in a relationship that was like way more healthier. She was very vocal about the hard time at this point. And I love that we did this episode right after Sasha, because it's a lot of parallels of just them both kind of realizing what their life is like outside of wrestling and finding happiness and growing into themselves. And, they joined the company at a young age. So, we kind of really watched them grow into themselves. And you see Paige, when she was GM, it was like, okay, girl, I'm feeling it. Okay. And it sucked when they just kind of cut it, but I liked it a lot.
I liked it too.
I did
Well,
too.
we want to wish Paige all the best in her future endeavors.
We really do.
We want to see you continue to grow and shine and to be your best anti-diva.
Yes.
And we hope for a miracle. Like, we hope you could come back at least one more time, have one good long run, and then be like, all right, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Right, because at the time of recording this, she's only 29. Like, she has her whole life ahead of her.
In fact, she's still in her 20s. Damn, I miss mine.
Oh, me too.
I miss mine.
Me too, sometimes.
Anyway, guys, this was a fun episode to record.
It really was.
We had a lot of fun doing this.
Let us know, what we missed and what more we want us to talk about Paige. And just in general, what do you want to see us cover? We're about to take a hiatus and we're going to come back fresh.
Hiatus is such an ugly word. We're taking a well-deserved break.
A well-deserved break. You're absolutely right. But stay tuned to our channels, because there's going to be a bunch of bonus content coming out that was like first exclusive on our Patreon and some not. So you'll still get some stuff from us, but we definitely are going to enjoy our well-deserved break. And I'm very excited for it. And I can't wait to come back for our Sasha series. And let us know, what else do you want us to record about?
Yep, let us know. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We don't need to say it, but we want to say it anyway. Those Wrestling Girls, everybody subscribe to our Patreon. Look out for the things that we have in store for you guys. Don't hit us up in July, because we won't answer. I won't answer. If it's wrestling related, I'm not answering unless it's like something detrimental, something very, very important, or something dealing with The Rock. That is it. P would probably be answering everything because she doesn't know how to really take a break. If I was with her, I would take her phone. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. No, but honestly, if you ever need us, hit us up. We're always answering. We're always there for you guys. Please make sure that you are at Black Girl Magic and Java Slam too.
Yes.
In August, because we would definitely be there. We're taking over. We're taking over everything this year.
Everything.
And if you're in Nashville for SummerSlam and I'm not there, please make sure you hit up P. Please make sure. P's gonna take all the pictures. She's gonna take. I'll cover from one side. She'll cover from the next, and we're always gonna meet in the middle.
Yes, I love that. I love you.
Love you too. And on that note, it's your girl Krista B.
And Queen PR.
And we're out of here. Bye.
Queen PR, Krista B. Those wrestling girls, TWG. Black excellence, making it effortless. Podcast bringing up women and wrestling. Let's go.